Do you think I'm homophobic? I think you suffer, like all of us do, with unconscious prejudice. Yeah, I mean, I never, on the continuum, that was never the issue, and I never put you in that category of, this is a guy who's just, really homophobic.
Can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think I'm homophobic?
Yes and no.
No, I have a serious question.
I have a funny answer. Go ahead, shoot, let me hear you.
Do you think I'm homophobic?
Are we being serious?
Being serious.
I don't think so.
I generally do not think so, because I think you are very, you engage people who are not heterosexual, and you are open and candid with them.
Look, the easiest, well, not that there's like a definitive way, but it's like, are you uneasy around gay people? Me neither.
But sometimes in our more intimate conversations, you reveal some of your own fears. Or discomfort, I should say, not fear. Discomfort.
No, you said fear though. Why are you correcting it?
I just don't think it didn't feel like the right word.
It really doesn't, because that's what homophobia is, right? Fear.
I think asking people if you're homophobic is not always the best question. So first of all, I think there's a difference between saying, are you X or are you an X? So are you homophobic? Are you a homophobe? Are you a racist? Are you a sexist? Are you whatever? Versus, is your thinking or behavior that? We all engage in sexist or racist or homophobic or whatever behaviors, and we all have those thoughts. Like even if you are a member of that group, like some of that stuff gets internalized. So the idea that, well, are you homophobic? I mean, I wouldn't necessarily, I don't know if I'd label you a homophobe. Have you engaged in behavior or thoughts that might be homophobic? Yes, because everyone has.
I have a video that I did with my friend where we were acting gay.
What does that mean?
Flamboyant, the quote gay voice, improving our gay relationship. I used to be proud of this video. It was like a highlight of our performance improv thing. My question to you is this the equivalent of blackface?
No. However, I'm gonna say why no, and then I'm gonna say what I think it is. So I'm going to say no because blackface holds such a particular place, especially in American society, in how it was used as a form of white systemic oppression, that I have a hard time saying that anything is blackface that isn't straight up blackface. However, if you are peddling in assumption and stereotype, and it is being done in a way, I'm not even going to say that has malicious intent, because it wasn't malicious intent, but that can be perceived that way. It can be perceived as mocking. It can be perceived as encouraging this idea of what a straight person is or what a queer person is. Doing these things and saying that these are the signifiers of what a gay person is just peddling in cheap stereotypes. So I wouldn't necessarily call it blackface, but I would call it lazy and I would call it harmful, and I would call it uncreative, and I would call it painfully contrived and stereotypical. And like, honestly, if you're trying to be funny, do better.
I still think that's funny.
Why?
I can understand how anyone pretending to be gay and doing this and being flamboyant or whatever can be hurtful, but I think my problem is that I lament that this is not acceptable. That is my confession.
Do you lament it because you miss it, or do you miss not having to try so hard?
That's a good one.
Because I know there's a lot of things in my life that I have privilege to. I'm an able-bodied person. I'm an employed person. I am a cisgender person. I was born, and the doctor said I was a girl, and I still identify that way. And there's lots of things that I grew up with that, as an adult, I have learned are not acceptable or inappropriate. And so I have to think about a lot of the things that I say and a lot of the ways that I react, because it's different than how I was trained, which means I have to work a lot harder than I used to be the person that I want to be. And that sucks, because nobody wants to have to work super hard all the time. But do I miss doing those things because I found value in them? Or do I just have to realize that what I actually miss is not having to try so hard? And remember that there are people on the flip side of this who don't have that option, who have to try really hard all of the time because the world makes them. Just like I have to try extra hard all the time in a way that you don't because I'm black.
Right.
Or because I'm a woman.
It must be because I'm worried about it in me. I mean, because I could be friends with and cherish a friend who is, to me, a feminine seeming gay man. Then an hour later I could be with a masculine bro buddy and chastise him for a feminine seeming moment and call it gay.
That idea that because somebody is acting in what I consider to be not a masculine, or whatever my idea of masculinity is, they're not reaching it, then therefore they're falling short of it, and therefore it is gay, and therefore it is to be lampooned. That whole thing I'm just starting now to, in my 40s, to understand. Did I ever joke with you about you being gay in a way that made you uncomfortable? That you can recall?
Yeah, as far as like specific instances, there would be, I can't cite one. It was more of, there would be a level of our banter and our teasing where you would get to this, you get kind of very close to the edge of being really using offensive, pejorative, gay kind of stereotypes and sexual, making comment about my sexual activities or whatever. And so you get close to it. And then I would, level you as best as I could, and then you'd stop.
If someone comes in seeking counsel and says some of what I have said here, and they're recognizing a problem in themselves.
What would my counsel or advice to them be?
Yeah.
Guilt is a useless emotion. Like, it's a feeling, but nothing comes from guilt. You just feel bad. You don't try harder, you don't do better. The only way that you can do any of those things is by stepping away from that guilt into something new. Everybody's human, and we're all gonna mess up, particularly because we are surrounded by systems that have trained us to act in certain ways that are harmful to others. It is the water that we swim in. And you don't notice the water that's around you. Fish don't notice the water. They're just in it. And so we have to recognize that sometimes we are going to just be in the water and forget about it. But that doesn't make us bad people. You apologize, you rectify the situation, and you try again. And if you keep doing that, if you keep calling yourself out, if you keep recognizing that one bad thing doesn't make you a bad person, and you keep trying again and again, and you don't give up, then you're gonna be okay, and things are gonna be better, and you're going to make the world better. No one's asking you to be perfect. We're just asking you, don't stop.